Guys, welcome to our third installment of Late Night Reds Talk here on the Locker Room app. We're so excited. We have a nice round table, some awesome guests to join us. For those who are joining us for the first time, I am Tim Daniel, joined by my PIC, my partner in crime, Mr. Nick Kirby. Nick, 3 times now, man. This hitting streak's getting strong. We're challenging DiMaggio.
Yeah, we've figured it out. We've got to work in 3 weeks in a row. I feel like we're doing good. Couple hours from opening day, fellas.
Not too far away, man. Not too far at all. So let's introduce the panel we have with us. First, Carlos, is it fair to say former Reds prospect? How would you like to be introduced? I guess I should have asked before we started this.
Definitely not that. If I was a prospect, I might have stayed with the Reds. I'd say former MLB San Diego Padre pitcher.
There we go. Former San Diego Padre pitcher. Can we say used to play with Joey Votto? Can we put that in there?
Yeah, probably Joey Votto's ex-roommate is probably
there we go. Joey Votto's ex-roommate, Carlos Guevara. Awesome to have you. Thanks for joining us, man. We finally got you on. I know we've been trying the last couple of weeks. And then joining us also, you can check him out here regularly. He had a really cool show today previewing opening day with the Locked On Cardinals crew. He is the host of Locked On Reds on the Locked On Network, Jeff Carr. So excited you're joining us, and we're not going head-to-head tonight, so you can come hang out. So we're excited, man.
Man, I appreciate you guys letting me crash the party. I kind of showed up uninvited, so thanks for having me.
Of course. So, guys, obviously the big news today, the team still has not technically finalized the roster as we're getting to opening day tomorrow because they're waiting on the decision to do with what they're going to do with Votto. But, Nick, we know one thing's for sure. Jonathan Indy is breaking camp on the roster. You heard Suarez talk about it. Indy is very excited. If you read what C. Trent was saying today on The Athletic, he kind of talked a lot about how Indy has, throughout spring training, just carried himself as a big leaguer, just had all this confidence and all this swagger. And you said last week he looks really cool when he plays baseball, and I totally agree. But we've talked about him already for the 2 weeks we've done shows, and we've had questions. Obviously, when a rookie who hasn't had any major league experience is skipping AAA, well, I guess there's no real AAA this year. It's obviously a lot to be questioning, but we know he's there. There's a lot to be excited about. So what do you think about the news?
Well, I mean, I'm excited. I have literally no idea what to expect. Normally, when you have a player coming up, you kind of have at least some sort of. I have no idea. But yeah, I'd rather him be starting tomorrow than no offense, Alex Blandino or any of those guys. So
sure.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's a creative move. It could backfire. I don't want to, say this is a for sure, move that's going to work great with Suarez having to shift positions. But it's an exciting move. At least, as I've said before, it's at least the Reds trying something. At least them trying to be creative, not just going with the status quo.
Yeah. So, Jeff, we talked about before we got started, you had Bobby Nightingale on the show not too long ago, and you've talked to a few people who are out in Arizona. What are the reports you've heard about Jonathan India to kind of teeter you to excited or cautious, if you would say?
I'm very excited about him, and a lot of it just kind of has to do with the surprise. I've been reading a lot, Baseball Prospectus talked about his ability that he added at the alternate site to just field second base competently. They're not coming out and saying he's going to be an all-star right away or anything like that, but they said the fact that he moved from third base to second base really plays well and raises his overall individual ceiling. And kind of with the way that people are talking about him, he carries himself with confidence. They kind of compare his demeanor in the box to Tyler Stevenson, two guys who just are not intimidated by major league pitchers. So I think that that's going to go a long way into having a pretty solid season. And I don't necessarily think that he's going to light the world on fire. I mean, he's coming out of nowhere. Basically, we were kind of, at least I was kind of looking at him as a prospect coming into the season boy, what is he? What's he going to prove to be? And all of a sudden, here he is going to be a major contributor to the major league team. I think it's going to be very interesting. And all year long, I don't know how it's going to end up, but all year long, I'm going to kind of have Nick Senzel's 2019 in the back of my mind and kind of comparing the two. And just based on what some folks have said, and I know that we all remember the names of Neftali Soto and Norris Hopper and Dennis Phipps, but based on what they saw in spring training, they like it, and he might even have a better rookie season than Nick Senzel.
Yeah, I'm pretty high on him. I put the thing on my Twitter today where once they announced that he broke, I'm in a Dynasty Fantasy Baseball League. And I put a clip, I did a screen save today of like when the Reds like put the news out that he broke what camp with the team. I put him in my lineup and had a screen video of like me doing it. So I was like, this feels good. This feels nice. Carlos, we'll round out with you on the Jonathan Indian conversation. I'm kind of asking for you because, you know, you've been in the majors, you've pitched, like you said, you pitched for the Padres, you were in the Reds organization. Have you seen enough footage on India to kind of see like what you like as far as what he looks like in the box or anything in the plate?
I have not. I've seen maybe 3 ABs from him at all. But I haven't even seen his minor league numbers, to be honest with you. When he had a full season Double A?
I think so, yeah.
So, you know, everybody says, you know, like scouts and ex-coaches and everything are like, if you can play at Double A, you can play at the big leagues. And at first I was like, man, that seems like a big jump, even when I was in Double A. And, you know, not to humble brag or anything, but I made the jump from Double A straight to the big leagues. And I shot myself in the foot trying to be too perfect. And, I mean, at the end, right before I got let go or sent down, I was like, man, I kind of belong here. This is the league that I should be in. And so that kind of gives me I don't give any thought to the fact that he hasn't played in AAA yet, because if he was successful or even felt comfortable or made good strides at the end of AA, then I have complete faith that he can play in the big leagues.
I got one more thought on India before we move on. Something just popped in. You know, the Reds have had several guys that have been really slow starters, you know, like Suarez last year, Moustakas last year. Votto's had a few seasons where he started slow. It just, you know, the Reds as a team have started for the last couple of years. Even if India, you know, can just carry this hot spring training and, you know, when pitchers haven't seen him yet and ride that wave for a couple weeks, maybe even a month, that could really be just such a huge jolt for the Reds just to kind of help you know, that first month until the other guys really get going, as we've seen taking a little longer in the past. So, you know, Indy at least gives you that possibility, whereas, you know, if you're playing Kyle Farmer at shortstop or whoever else, they're not going to be able to carry a team for a couple weeks. Well, maybe India kind of could.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Anyone want to touch on that before we move to the next topic?
I just love that they're kind of starting him off with low expectations. I feel like Nick Senzel came up with all of the hype in the world and all of the expectations. And India is kind of like, boy, we're just happy that he's here in the hype level. So I think that in and of itself is going to be a huge start for him and a huge, like, not weight lifted because there was no weight to begin with, but they're kind of like easing expectations onto him, and I think that's a huge deal.
I've got a question. So do we think that this is an India playing second base out of absolute necessity, or is this a new wave of thinking, kind of getting away from the service time, manipulating the service time?
Well, I'm not convinced they're still not going to manipulate his service time. I think there's a chance they send him down for, you know, the 3 weeks or whatever they need at some point during the year. At some point, he's going to slump. You know, it would be a near miracle if he has a incredible flawless season. So I wouldn't rule out, you know, them still sitting him down for a couple weeks at some time. The Reds have done it before with other guys doing it. I as a shortstop is desperation, but I don't know if India being the guy that's starting is really desperation, how I look at it. I think India really forced their hand. I don't think they had thought for very long, you know, back in February, early February, hey, we're going to put Jonathan India on the roster. I don't think that was ever really thought of. I think it just, I guess, kind of just happened with how well he performed.
Yeah, I'm about the same way. Because I think too, like, I don't think it's something where the Reds saw like what's going on in Kansas City with Bobby Witt, where all their fans are like raising hell because they sent him down. But I definitely do think like I could see a situation like Nick said, unless he comes out and just like goes crazy like Jay Bruce's first couple weeks, where maybe like they keep him like they send him down for a bit. But other than that, it's definitely a good point. I could definitely see one way or the other. I don't think they're necessarily going the Billy Bean Moneyball route by any means.
Yeah, I don't see that.
Yeah. So let's touch on this real quick because obviously this is a big topic today too. As they're breaking everything, we're now learning the rotation while we're dealing with Sonny Gray and Michael Lorenzen out. And 1 and 2 sound great. 3, 4, and 5. We're still figuring that out. So obviously we know Luis Castillo's pitching opening day. Tyler Mahle gets the ball Saturday for opening night going against Waino. And then Sunday, which the game I'll be in attendance. I'm so excited to be in the ballpark. We have Jeff Hoffman, from former Rocky, going against Carlos Martinez. Monday against the Pirates, we have Jose De Leon, who we've had some good reports on from spring training. Doesn't look like the Pirates have necessarily announced their starter just yet, have they? And then Tuesday, we have Wade Miley, the lefty in the rotation. So obviously we know what they're dealing with as far as the injuries. But do you guys expect this might be a weekend we see a lot of TJ Antone?
Yes. I think that I don't think necessarily, unless there's some sort of injury with Wade Miley and they just pushed him back because of that. I think Wade Miley pitching against the Pirates is strategic because the Pirates have a lot more left-handed hitters than the Cardinals. The Cardinals only have their projected 8th hitter is left-handed. Everyone else is right, or there's a couple switch, and they're not drastic splits. Whereas the Pirates have a bunch of lefties. So I think Wade Miley pitching against the Pirates is strategic in that. I don't know, Jeff Hoffman, maybe they want him to face his teammate Arenado first weekend. I guess probably flip a coin which one of them you want to pitch against the Cardinals, But yeah, I would say Wade's probably strategic. The one thing that's kind of interesting is the Reds could have pitched Castillo on Tuesday on normal rest, and then potentially not had to use Hoffman again or De Leon again. And we kind of use those off days. So I guess they're not doing that. I guess they just don't want to push Castillo early.
Yeah, probably not because he was a little slow out the gate is kind of my guess. And then my guess for Anton would be day 3, kind of piggybacking with Hoffman. It's kind of what I'm seeing. He'll end up sliding into that whatever you want to call it, that slot, that 3 slot.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll try to get there's a possibility maybe tomorrow they try to get Antone in because there's that off day on Friday. And maybe they don't pitch, Lucas Sims or Garrett, one of the two. Maybe they try to get Antone in tomorrow if they feel like, Antone can pitch on Thursday and then pitch again on Sunday. Maybe so you can kind of utilize them the best. Maybe there's a chance Antone comes in and pitches the 8th and 9th inning tomorrow, and they save the other guys, because they can probably pitch a little more back to back than Antone.
The nice thing is the back half of the rotation is only going to be tested by the Pirates.
True.
Hopefully the other guys are back.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, really you need Gray back by the 3rd week of April. You can probably survive the first couple weeks. It's a pretty weak schedule, thankfully.
Yeah. I think C-Trent said today in his article, the Reds are getting ready for opening day with 12 first-round picks as far as their pitching staff.
Damn.
None of them named Nick Howard.
No. or what's his name? What was the other Nick? I just forgot his name as I was going to make a funny joke.
Nick Travieso.
I think he's playing independent ball now. Yeah. We got a good question. If any of you guys want to answer from Tyler in the chat, he said, "How confident are you on Lorenzen possibly starting, or just your thoughts on the whole situation, considering his velocity has dropped to let him go longer in his outings, and how that affect his performance?" For me, I think it was just I kind of like the idea of starting because we don't know until tomorrow, obviously, if they made a decision on the DH. Maybe it's a situation where I don't know if they're going to go full Shohei Ohtani with him for being a two-way player, but I do think it's in the cards. I know last year he had one plate appearance in that goofy year, but we saw the year before there was nice he was playing in left field in the later innings and starting in the outfield later in the season as the season was kind of winding down. But I think he's kind of going to be their guy. They're going to try to find all the different ways they can use him without straining his body too much.
Yeah, I thought he looked more comfortable as a starter last year. I think especially it's not like he's taking the rotation spot of a stud. I mean, I definitely think he deserves a chance. And I think last year probably him not being utilized as much probably had a lot to do with it. Only being 60 games. He appeared in. He actually only appeared in 18 games last year. I thought he felt like he was there every other night. But it probably, that and the DH. I don't necessarily think the Reds are going to just, intentionally try to work him in. But, I think if they have spots they can use him, I think they probably will.
Yeah. It's one of the difficult things with him because his 2 starts last year, we remember very positively on the emotional scale, but kind of when you step back and look at him objectively, neither went more than 5 innings. And so if we look at that over a full season, that's still taxing on the bullpen. Like you'd have to set up a taxi or not a taxi, like a piggyback guy off of that, or at least have the bullpen ready to go as if it were a bullpen day. I would hope that he would at least stretch out for 6 or 7 innings, but it seems to get in his head. Like, I know last season, at the beginning of the season, he was so obsessed with trying to hit 104, and he couldn't hit the strike zone. And then this season, it seemed like he at least started off spring training by really working in his secondary pitches. And I remember Cowboy talking about it on the radio, like, most of the time you want to elongate your arm with velocity and trying to get your fastball going, and then you work in your breaking stuff. So I just hope it doesn't kind of confuse him, if that makes any sense. But I would love to see him be able to be utilized out of the rotation. I just wonder if he's not going to make more sense as that they called it in Baseball Prospectus the rubber arm security blanket.
Yeah, my opinion on him is he is a spot starter at best. I also think he can come in and be your 7th or 8th inning guy if he's going well. But it's really hard to depend on him. And, he's had plenty of chances to be the starter that he wanted to be. And he's been in the bullpen for a reason. So, if we're going to talk about the Reds being, trying to chase the pennant or anything like that, winning the division, he can't be the number 4 or the number 5 guy. 870, 80% of the time.
That's fair. And then, Will, I saw you asked about the where to Gold and Green starting the year. They'll be in Double-A Chattanooga. But what do you guys think about that prospect announcement today down in Louisville for the alternate site? I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's pretty interesting. Some fans and do some scrimmages. It kind of seems weird. I don't know why they just didn't start the minor league season. Doesn't that kind of seem like?
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
But I guess it's better than nothing. Maybe there's maybe they're only playing are they only playing two teams that are close? So maybe it's it'd be too hard to start the season and keep everyone local. So I guess there's probably some sort of smart reason behind it, I would hope.
I might try to go down next week because it's the Royals for the first week. See Bobby Witt Jr. play.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah. So, actually, Carlos, before we do move off the Lorenzen topic, I kind of want to get your thoughts, too. Like I said, you're the one of us who has been in the majors, so I hope you don't mind that I pick your brain a lot on some of these questions that are trends in baseball.
Sure.
I mentioned earlier, the Reds kind of had this idea of Lorenzen kind of, using him in the outfield. We've seen that he has the ability to hit and also kind of pitching. And you're also seeing this right now, Shohei Ohtani being the poster boy. Tampa is really doing a lot with Brendan McKay. What is your feeling on this trend going on in baseball right now? As far as someone who's been around major league pitchers, we know it's not always the most fun thing for them to hit. Do you like this? Do you think it's something that could stick in the majors?
As far as just being like a two-way player?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's great. Yeah. If he can do it, the only way that he can do it if he's a reliever. I don't think he can be doing that if he's a starter. But Ohtani, he's something special.
Yeah, he's unreal.
Like Lorenzen, I have no problem with him being out there. He's probably better defender than 2/3 of the outfield out there that's currently fielding. But yeah, I'm all for it. If they can do that, I think it's exciting. It's fun to watch. Your teammates get pumped up about it. And it's just being a pro. If he can do it, then he can do it. And it sort of almost promotes the game a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely fun. So Tyler had another quick question, then we'll get into our over-unders. What happens with the infield when the organization feels it's time for Jose Garcia to be the everyday shortstop?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd worry about that. I think that will probably solve itself at some point. It doesn't sound like Jose Garcia is at all in the plans in 2021, unless everything goes right. So yeah, I don't know. You could shift guys around. You could stick India out in the outfield. The Reds could trade someone at some point. There's a million things. I wouldn't worry about that. I can't see Suarez playing shortstop for the next 3-4 years, right? Do you guys all agree on that? I don't.
Yeah, why not? Derek Jeter did
maybe 2-year deal. I don't see him staying at shortstop very long.
Yeah, I think it was born out of necessity / let's get Jonathan India some playing time. So I definitely don't think they believe it's a long-term solution, but it at least opens up the idea that they can give Jose Garcia all the time that he needs at AAA and not rush him or anything like that. So I definitely agree he's not in the 2021 plans unless he himself forces the issue and he's hitting like 500 at AAA or something, which I would doubt that would happen, but it would be amazing if it did.
We should have put a record.
Yeah. Well, we should have a DH next year, right?
True.
It seems like we have a new bargaining agreement. Sounds like it's definitely going to happen next year. So there's your extra spot. Maybe you rotate Suarez, Moustakas, and Votto as the DH. And boom, there's your extra infield spot. So, maybe they just, saying, let's try to get Suarez through this year. I don't think it's completely crazy if the Reds, do decent attendance-wise. Kind of listen to that really bizarre podcast with Castellini and just like print. But it kind of seemed like Bob in that was maybe hinting at, like, if things go well, we would spend a little bit at the deadline. We'd be willing to take on a contract. So I don't know. Maybe they would look to add a shortstop at the deadline if the team's in a good position. So yeah, I don't think the Suarez thing is gonna stay for long.
So Nick, I think it's time we do the over-unders as we plan for opening day. I understand. You talked about pulling up. Did you pull up the Zips projections or the Fangraphs? What'd you pull up?
I got Zips. I'll just pick like some I think interesting categories, and we'll go through them. All right, I'll go last. I'll just say it, and then you guys can go around the horn. All right, so we'll start big. Suarez 34 home runs, over under.
I'm going over. I think if he's going to be on the field playing at that ballpark, I could see this being another 40 home run season for him.
I'm going to say over as well. I think he can hit 40, 45, and I got big high hopes for him this season.
Yeah, I'm on boat with that. I'm 40, 43, right around there.
I think I'd do over if it was 50. So, yeah, definitely over. Maybe not 50. Maybe like 42 I'd probably go over. All right. Tucker Barnhart, 319 on base percentage.
Oh. What was last year's? Or 2019?
Last year was 291, but 328, 347 the years before.
I don't love. I mean, it's pretty well known that not many people love him as a hitter, obviously. And I just feel like at some point Tyler Stevenson's just going to get to the point where, like, we've seen his ability, we've seen the promise of his ability to hit, I should say. But I think I'll go a slight over, but I'm talking like 323 if I'm going over.
Gosh, that is hard. 319. I think I'm gonna I think I'm gonna say over just because I'm an optimist and I love Tucker Barnhart, but I can at least be objective about it, and it might be 320.
Yeah, let's keep the trend going. I got the over too, just because he's not going to be facing many left-handers.
yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, I want to be different, but I'm going to take the over, and I'm going to make a little prediction. I think Barnhart will be batting ninth tomorrow, so I think he's going to be looking more for getting on base because he's going to basically be the leadoff hitter the second time through the order. I think that's what they're going to do. I could be wrong, but
I'm cool with that.
Right. What was that?
Said I'm cool with that.
Yeah. All right. This is a good one. Moustakas, and I don't like the stat, but I just think it's a good one. 91 RBIs.
RBI.
Okay, if he's sitting behind Votto Castellanos, I could definitely see an over. It's very much could be being optimistic, but we've made this point now for the 3 weeks we've had a show. There's no way the offense is worse than it was last season, and we saw the Shogo kind of like turn the corner. They got better as far as but not significantly better by any means. But I think with the guys in front of them, I expect the offense will be a lot better this year. And I don't mean to kind of keep this trend of being like Reds homers by any means, but I think I'm going to go over again. I just think hitting behind Votto, Castellanos, maybe Suarez, depending how the lineup shapes out, is going to give him a lot of opportunities.
Vegas is going to pick their odds after they listen to this.
Yeah, they because Vegas I think has the over under at 93.5. Yeah,
wow.
I saw that and I was like, oof. Man, I really want to be super optimistic on this one, but I think it's going to be slightly under. I think he's going to have probably about 87, 88 RBIs, and part of it is because I will throw the homer part in there and say because he's hitting behind Suarez is going to be the RBI sham wow right there and just soak them all away from him.
I'm not going to have anyone on base when he comes up.
Good point.
Carlos, what do you think?
It's close. It's right around there, but I could probably go with the under a little bit just because of that fact that Suarez is right there. And maybe health factor a little bit. He might need a couple more days than he usually used to get.
Yeah.
But just throwing that in there.
I'm going to take the under too. He's only done that once in his career. So I don't see that. All right. My dude who I think's the best hitter against right-handed pitching on the team. I don't know which one I want to pick here. Jesse Winker, 820 OPS.
Ooh. That's a close one. That's really close. What was it last year? Because I know he was 388 on base.
Last year it was 932.
Oh.
But 830, 836 the 2 years previous.
And your over-under was what, 840?
820.
820.
Trend says upward, so I'm going to stick with it. And I'm trying to find an under, but I'm just, I don't know if I found one yet I'm comfortable with. So
I'll softball you one here at some point.
yeah. I mean, do we kind of feel like he's more than likely the leadoff hitter tomorrow, right? Am I the only one that feels that way?
Yeah. They did a scrimmage today, and he was the leadoff hitter, and it looked like the lineup they're going to use. And I think the last, several spring training games bad leadoff. So I think the lineup is pretty well set that it's, at least for tomorrow, it's Winker, Castellanos, Votto, Suarez, Moustakas, Senzel, India, Barnhart, or am I missing someone?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Unless you count Castillo, of course, but.
Yeah.
All right. Once again, Tim the over.
820 OPS. Jeff, what do you think?
820, I think he's going to go over. I think it's interesting they have it that low. I wonder, because I know there's a couple of people like national writers and folks that talk about it on a national basis that still wonder if he can hit left-handers. I think he can. I think that even though 2020 is a small sample size and it's really hard to know a lot about a player based on that, I think he got the left-handed monkey off his back, and I think he's going to be just fine. So I'm taking an over on an 820 OPS for Jesse Winker.
Nick said this line. Let's be honest. He wanted everybody to go over on this pick. So I'm going over as well. I'd love for them to give him more opportunities against left-handers. I mean, how do we know if he can hit major league left-handers if they never give him the opportunity other than pinch hits or light off the bench? I want to see it too. I mean, I know it's hard to find all of these guys ABs with a Shogo. I think he can hit lefties. He did it in pro ball overseas. And, I mean, yeah, throw him out there. Let him have it. I take the over. I'm in on him.
I'm definitely taking the over on that. I won't be the too hateful on opening day, but I disagree on the lefties. But I do think he's going to get some. My guess is they'll probably do he starts occasionally versus lefties where it's not like a straight platoon. They'll just try. I think they'll try to make sure his off days are against lefties more so than anyway. So I don't think he's going to get that 900 OPS if he plays against lefties as much. But 820, that seems like an easy over. All right. I'll
One
try
more
to just
thing. Winker gives me the Jay Bruce vibes. Like, that guy can get hot for 3 straight fire. And then we're like, well, what happened to Jesse? What happened to Jay?
Jay made the Yankees roster. Granted by injury, but he made the Yankee roster.
Yeah, Yankees.
All right. Nick Castellanos, 27 bombs.
Damn it, Nick.
What are his career highs?
He had 14 last year in 60 games, so.
He hit 27 in 2019, 23 and 18, and 26 and 7. So yeah, I mean that's pretty well in his wheelhouse. But again, he's only played one season in Cincinnati, and he had 14 in 60 games.
Yeah,
and played in all 60 games last year.
I just feel like the short porch in left field is going to be to his favor, and I'm trying to find an under, but I feel like this is a 30 home run season for him.
All right.
I agree. 30 home runs, so I'm taking the over.
Yeah, we're going overs, baby. Runs.
Yeah, I'm over. All right, I'm going to give you guys all an easy under because this is ridiculous. And if anyone says over, I don't know what Shogo Akiyama, 13 home runs. That is the Zips projection, and honestly, I really question it at this point.
Well, yeah, injury. Nick Senzel with him as well. Yeah, I got to go under.
183 plate appearances last year. Anyone going to take the over, or are we all under?
I got to go under just because I mean, I don't see the power. I also don't see that being part of his game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
got to hit. All right, we'll do one more batter, then we'll do a couple pitchers, and I won't do all. I could do this all night, but we got to do Joey Votto. I'm trying to see which one of these I want to do.
Be careful.
We'll do the OPS 731. He was 800 last year. He was 768, 837, and then 1,032 in 2017. So 731.
I think I got to go the slight over just because the trends that you mentioned seems like I know he's definitely getting older. And I know we're very limited. He had 18 at-bats in spring training, but he had a 789 in that stretch. So hopefully he just kind of keeps that going.
I'm thinking he gets around 800, so I'm taking the over.
I'm thinking MVP number 2. I'm just kidding.
I like
He already has MVP number 2.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother segment. Yeah, I'm gonna go the over for sure. I mean, everything that I've heard from my sources are looking positive, and I mean he's ready to go. He can't wait.
Is your source Joey Votto? Yes or no?
See. Yeah.
I'll take the over. I don't think he'll get to 800 again, but I think he'll be close. That would be mine. All right, let's do a couple pitching ones. They're a little harder to do. And I don't want to do wins. That's so dumb. We'll do, I guess, wins above replacement. I know that's kind of a harder thing to project, but I'll give you some baseline. So, Luis Castillo is 3.8. Obviously, last year was 2.4 in 40 games, so that's well. And then 4.1 the year before, 2.2 in 2018.
I feel like he's going to be really good this year. And I just feel like you guys would make me look like a major homer here. So I'm just going to take the under out of necessity of my bets. But I still think he'll be terrific this year.
Yeah.
I got the over. I think he finishes in the top 5 of Cy Young.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the over as well. From what I saw in spring training, just the way he looked. Like last year, I remember having a conversation saying, man, he looks kind of, a little heavier. Didn't seem quite as ready to go. And then this year in spring training, to me, I mean, I don't know what they weighed in at, or I'm just going off straight visual, that he looked really good and in shape. And, I mean, I think his focus is going to be determined to have a good year and an all-star type of.
Yeah, I think he'll be pushing like 6 wins above replacement. Yeah, I'm taking the over. For some context, in 2019, Castillo's projection is 3.8. That would put him 24th in baseball. Luis Castillo is definitely going to be better than the 24th best in baseball. All right, this is probably a different one. Sonny Gray 3.2. Sonny was last year's going to be a little. Last year was 1.7, 4.4 in 2019. That was the only time he's gone above 3 since he was in Oakland.
3.2 is the number?
3.2, yep. And he was 4.4 in 2019, the last full season.
Sadly, I'm going to go with the under just because of health on my end. Just feel a little skeptical about his health. A little bit older, lots of innings, small guy, max effort every pitch. He's already been in the training room all spring training. when he's out there, when he's healthy, hopefully, he dominates. But, hopefully he kind of takes it easy and paces himself throughout the season, which will put him at the under.
I'm going the same route, which, I don't know if there's many people who are bigger Sonny Gray fans than me. I think he'll be terrific when he's on the mound. But like Carlos said, already battling injury, I think it's just going to be a little tough uphill battle for him because we don't know how many starts he's going to miss. But I'm still pretty high on those two as your 1-2. It's a hard time, maybe besides the Dodgers, finding a team in the NL that can match that. So,
Padres.
close to no cigar. Yeah.
I'm going over, baby.
Oh, there we go.
I think 3.5 or 4.0. I think that he misses a couple starts, but he gets it figured out and he stays healthy the rest of the year.
All right. I'll take the under I think it's got, for him to get to 3.2, it hasn't projected to make 28 starts. I don't think he'll make 28 starts. So I'm going to say he'll probably have about the numbers. They're projecting a 3.72 ERA. I think he'll be able to hit that, maybe even a little better, but I don't think he'll make 28 starts. All right, I'm going to do one more, but I'm not going to use as its projection. How many Reds relief pitchers have 5 saves in 2021? How many total? Ooh. I'll go first while you guys think about this, since I've kind of been thinking about this a little bit. I am going to say there are 5 guys that have 5 or more saves. The two obvious, no, I'm going to say 6 guys. 2 obvious, Garrett and Sims. Doolittle.
Hey, what?
I mean, it's just out of necessity. They're going to use the other guys first, and he's going to come in. It's only 5. Cam, I always say his name wrong, Bedrosian, I think he'll get it. And then I think the other guy, I think TJ Antone will get 5 saves.
Ooh. I like that.
What's a good save season? 30? That's great, right? For a season?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Chad was turning 40s when they were winning. He was pretty close.
I'm going to say 3 with at least 5. I don't see that. I think kind of once they kind of narrow it in, if somebody gets 4 in a row, 5 in a row, I think they're going to stick with them until they have, something bad happen. I know Bell's talking about, or not Bell, but pitching coach, talking about multiple guys who can throw that inning, but that 9th inning is something different. It doesn't matter what anybody says. They're not just throwing 3 outs, going out there for that 9th inning with the lead and your entire team on the weight of your shoulders. That is a different ball game to pitch in. And man, to get 5 saves, that's a lot. So yeah, I'm going to say 3.
So who do you got? Obviously Garrett, Sims. Who's your third?
Garrett, Sims, Lorenzen.
That was mine. Damn it.
Oh, I like it. They're really going off the beaten path. I like it.
Yeah, because I think he's ultimately going to end up back in the bullpen. That's going to be where he can flourish the most. That's where he can get the most potential. Just rear back and throw it down the middle. It's still hard to hit 100 no matter where it's at. I think that's where he'll be, and I think Antone will be in the starter role more than the bullpen this year.
Man, that's a good question. I honestly want them to keep it by committee as long as possible. I think I'm going to go with 4. I'm going to go Sims, Garrett. I'm going to say Doolittle, because I think he's found something. I think he's going to be okay. And then CNL Perez.
Oh.
Ooh. Forgot. Yeah.
I think he makes it to 5.
I'm excited about him.
I like what I've seen from him. I think there's going to be a lot more.
3 lefties getting 5 saves. Ooh. Like it. Tim, what you got?
Oof, I think I'm at 4. I was definitely going to jump in the Michael Lorenzen get saves bandwagon before Carlos jumped it. but great minds think alike is the route I'm going to go here. I do think we've talked a lot about closure by committee. I do think it'll be kind of like Amir Garrett will be the guy when needed, but I definitely think there's an option they're going to use multiples. So yeah, I'll go with the 4.
All right, who's your fourth? You got Sims, Garrett, Lorenzen. Who's your fourth?
Sean Doolittle. I think he's going to be really good this year. I'm really high on him.
Man, you guys are seeing something way different on him than I am.
I'm not super high on him, but I think he can get 5 saves. I think he'll probably be like mid-4s ERA, which I mean, I guess for $1 million and he's your 5th, 6th best reliever. I mean, it's probably fine, to have a guy that's established and whatever. But yeah, I don't think he'll be good.
What are they paying him?
I think it's like 1 million even.
Yeah, I'm going to take the under being on the game 162 roster.
Okay.
Nice. Let me ask you guys this before we kind of do our last 2 things. Actually, this is one of the last 2s. Going around the room, do any of you think we see Hunter Green and or Nick Lodolo on the Major League roster at some point this season?
Nick Lodolo, yes. Hunter Green, no.
Yeah, I say Nick Lodolo, yeah. Hunter Green, no.
I say Nick Lodolo, yeah. Hunter Green, yeah. But Hunter Green is a relief pitcher. He's going to come up in August 31st, similar to a certain other pitcher in August 31st of 2010.
I was at... So, okay, Nick, I told you this in a text earlier. So for those who have been following, Nick has been doing the top 100 Reds wins, getting us ready for opening day, which has been awesome. I really enjoyed when I got to look at your mentions and I seen people thanking you instead of people being mad at you for other things that happen games after. You shared today your number 1 was the Jay Bruce walk-off to clinch in 2010. And 2 of the highlights you showed, and there were obviously 2 big plays. It was Drew Stubbs robbing the homer and Jay's walk-off. And I was actually in attendance at that game, so I watched I was there and just seeing the excitement. It was just such a different energy. And when you watch that clip back, it looks like the pit is 5 seconds. In the stadium that night, I was in left field. It felt like the balls were in the air for 10 minutes for both those plays. So seeing that again, gave me those goosebumps and those chills. Just such an awesome night, man. I'll never forget that night.
Yeah, I was there too. Man, that was something. Hopefully we can get that again. Either you guys there that night?
I was there for Clenchmas. Absolutely. That was still to this day, I can watch that replay and remember that feeling.
Yeah.
And I thought for a minute I'd get that feeling last year whenever they finally clinched it. I didn't quite get there. And then, of course, the playoffs really dampened that. But, yeah, looking forward to feeling that again. That was something. That was a different level.
Carlos, were you pitching for the Padres?
What year was that? 10?
Yeah.
I was on my way out of the game, player. No, I was 08 with the Padres, 09 with the Padres, and 10. I think 10. I went to camp with the Rockies, and then that was it.
Oh, that's right. Because I remember you were in 2008 because the MLB has almost every game up on YouTube from 2009, of course, through 2018. So you can't find a lot of highlights. That's
I can send you an edited video of some good stuff.
Hey, I want it. I'm serious.
I won't send you the Soriano or anything like that.
Are you keeping an eye on the Padres this year, Carlos?
Do what?
Are you keeping an eye on the Padres this year since they have a ton of hype?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I've kind of forced myself to have to along the way, the last several years, just keeping an eye on them, see what's going on. Definitely way more invested in the Reds, just because of Joey, and Padres it's so late at night. But now I'm definitely back on the bandwagon. I'm I'm excited about it. It's going to be a lot of good baseball nights around here.
Yeah, it's hard to not be excited about Fernando Tatis, man. He's so fun.
Yeah, I'll watch a lot of Padres games this year, that's for sure.
Yeah. Carlos dropped out. Let's see if he gets back in. But while we're waiting, let's kind of do this real quick, guys. So Nick and I, last week, Jeff, we predicted the Reds. Nick is more optimistic than I am. I believe that they will be still in the. I think they'll be in the race. I think they'll probably finish second. I feel very nervous about the Cubs, as far as like their season, obviously, with everything that happened at the end of the Theo era. So, win total. What do you guys feel the record will be this year? One there. I'll start. I think that they're going to be competing for a wild card spot. I say they're about 85 and 77. I think they're in the fight.
I'm going 87.
I'm going. I have to copy that because I have 87 down in the digital pages of RedLinkNation.com tomorrow. So I better stick with that.
Nice.
87, and they clinch the National League Central the final day of the year in Pittsburgh.
Oof.
I'm doing this for my own health and my own safety and my own wallet when it comes to purchasing alcohol. I'm saying 83 wins and a second place finish. I think it's going to be fun all year, and I definitely think they have the talent to put it together. I just really worry about if they suffer a rash of injuries.
Yeah.
All right, so last thing, because we talked about this last week, Nick, and we have some guys here to join us and talk about it. We mentioned the name Trevor Story. Is there a scenario if the Reds are in the race at the deadline, you see him playing shortstop for the Reds for a few months?
Yeah, I think it just depends. It depends how much revenue they bring in between now and middle of July. But yeah, I mean that was kind of the sense I got from Bob's comments was like, hey, if things go well and we make some money, he said something along the lines of, and I don't have an exact quote, but something along the lines of, we've saved a little bit of money to see how things play out. That was kind of what he said. And so it kind of made me think, well, maybe that's like in the back of their head. So yeah, I don't think that's impossible. And I mean, Trevor Story's I think 17 million or 27 million this year. So, you prorate that. That's probably like 10. I mean, that's a little bit easier to swallow, I guess. So yeah, I think it's possible.
I think it's something like Nick Kroll, like pulling like a Billy Bean off Moneyball or something and like saying, hey, I just won a whole bunch of money off of this bet on black down at the Hard Rock. So let me throw it on this. Let's go get Trevor Story. And if we make the playoffs, then I get like 5% of the gate or something. I don't know, like something crazy like that. But I certainly think it's going to have to be Nick Kroll getting up and trying to get some sort of leverage with the ownership. I felt like that's what Dick Williams had, and I kind of felt like that's what they told him he had lost, and that's why he left. Like, I feel like not necessarily that he had lost it from anything that he had done. It was just ownership came to him this year, and he said, yeah, whatever you want, you're not getting it because we can't afford it. And he's like, all right, I'm out because, what are we doing if we're not adding and making our team better?
Yeah, I'm sick of being blamed for everything. Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's spot on. I think he's just like, you know what? Like, I've done everything I can here. We're not going to spend. I'm not getting blamed for all this and all the venom. And I would say it's probably more likely they get someone maybe lesser than Story at the deadline. Like, maybe they get like Brandon Crawford. I see he's a free agent, and the Giants chip in some money, or maybe like a Miguel Rojas or someone along the lines of that nature. Maybe I highly doubt the Cubs would do this, but maybe Javier Baez if the Cubs fall out of the
that'd be nice.
Oh, I'd celebrate.
A defensive shortstop, if they add that on, I think it's only because somebody got injured in the infield. But to add a Trevor Story, we're talking the Reds are, +6, +7, above 500 at the All-Star break, and let's go after it type of deal. And then I can see that happening.
Yeah.
Cool. I like it. Well, dudes, this was awesome. Jeff, I know you said you crashed the party. We're stoked to have you, man. This was a lot of fun. Carlos, it's great we finally had you on, man. We would love to have you. If you want to do this every week with us, I don't think we turn it down by any means. So before we get out of here, if you guys want to shout yourselves out, social medias where anyone listening to this can follow you if they don't already, take a moment. We definitely appreciate the time. So
Definitely not me.
Well, I do appreciate you guys letting me just kind of join in. You can follow me on Twitter at Jeff Carr with 3 Fs, and follow the show at Locked On Reds. And you can follow the podcast pretty much anywhere you get your podcasts. I don't know of anywhere else that the podcast isn't. So we're going to be excited for opening day. That's me, is excitement, and looking forward to it.
Yeah, thanks guys for coming on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it was a blast. Thanks, man. I'm looking forward to more episodes.
Thank you.
Definitely. So, guys, like we said, tomorrow's opening day. Who knows? You might see Nick and I pop in tomorrow and do a little quick recap. We're still figuring the plans out, but we're excited, especially everyone. It's finally here. Baseball's upon us. I just had my dynasty draft, so I'm very excited with joy. So have a good night. Enjoy the games, and we'll talk soon.
Go Reds.